Hey everyone, we're the Steam Sisters. I'm Sandhya.
And I'm Swapna.
And this is the STEAM League, where we get to learn about the day-to-day careers, aspirations, and origin stories of superheroes in science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
And today we have the wonderful honor of being joined by Raven Baxter, or better known as Raven, the Science Maven.
Amazing. So Raven is a director of collegiate STEM initiatives at a STEM school in New York State, a former corporate drug discovery scientist, a former biology professor, founder, host of STEMbassy, we'll talk about that later, as well as a musically gifted science rapper, super cool, and she's working on her PhD in science education. Amazing.
You wear so many hats. Welcome to the STEAM League, Raven. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me, Steam Sisters. This is so exciting, and I can't wait to have some fun with you guys today.
Yay!
We're super excited, so we're going to jump right in with a fun game.
And that's going to be a quick fire round of questions. We're going to be picking questions out of this hat. Sorry, Raven, I know you're not in Toronto, so the Raptors might not be your team, but it's hard.
All right, so first question. Okay. Ooh, Raven, what's your favorite dance move?
Twerking.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer.
Not one that we've mastered yet, though, so we're going to have to work on that. Next question is, favorite instrument that either you play or wish that you played?
Guitar.
Ooh, guitar.
Oh, she was ready for that. She was ready. Acoustic or electric, or both?
Acoustic.
Nice. Have you started playing it, or is it something that you want to play?
I've started playing it, but my string broke and I didn't fix it, so I'm not playing it right now.
Hey, that's actually super relatable. We play the sitar, but the string broke and we haven't replaced it.
Okay, so the next question is, who was your biggest inspiration?
Me.
Hey, that is...
I love that answer.
I love that. Hey, I like that so much. Because then you can just like inspire yourself to be better every day.
Yeah, basically that's how it works for me.
Your next question is, who would you want to share a brunch with from history?
Harriet Tubman.
Oh, what would be the first question you ask her?
What do you think about the audacity of these people?
That is an excellent question.
Good question. Yep. Do you have a motto?
Motto is be the change in the world that you'd like to see, but that is from Gandhi.
Yeah, it's a great motto. It's one of my favorites.
Great words to go by.
Good words to live by. Your next one is, what would your superpower be, Raven?
Teleportation.
Same.
Really?
Yeah. Always late to things, so if you could just go to whatever, problem solved.
Exactly.
What's your reason?
Because I'm afraid of air travel, so I would rather just teleport.
Exactly. It will be a lot easier.
Yeah, I'll get on a plane, but it's a process for me to get on the plane.
Definitely understand. Favorite subject in school, what was it?
Art history.
What did you enjoy about art history?
I really enjoyed learning about how art impacted history and historical events, and also how history impacted art. The overall culture transformations over time have also been influenced by art.
That's super cool, and I love that that's the combination of kind of STEM and art, so STEAM right there. That's perfect.
Do you have a favorite visual artist?
I love people who make art that'll tell a story. I really like that.
Yeah, it is really cool to see narrative through images rather than just words. I like that.
A picture tells 1,000 words, is that the saying?
I think so. Okay, your next one. Oh, I like this question. What's your favorite food?
peach cobbler.
Ooh. With ice cream?
No, I can't do it with ice cream because it makes it soggy and I like it crunchy, like the crunchy crust.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. The peach cobbler has to be the star of that dish.
Yes.
Don't think I've ever had it. I need to try some.
Ooh. What's your favorite place to visit when you're teleporting?
I think I would just like to go somewhere with some nice fresh air. I want to go to wherever in the world has the freshest air as possible and just be there for like a week and then come back.
Okay, your last quickfire question is, who is your favorite musical artist?
Or one of your preferred?
Yeah, that might be a great question.
Oh my gosh. I listen to so many different genres. Let's just go with a genre. I really like, right now, Megan Thee Stallion.
Do you have a song in particular that you enjoy?
Of hers? Oh.
Or is it just her style?
I really like that she's a college-educated woman who's also not afraid to be her unapologetic self in a field that's dominated by men and, especially being in the limelight, a lot of people judging you for just kind of going on your own path, and that's what she does, and she does it well, and I think it's good to learn from that.
You know who that sounds like? A lot like you.
Yeah, right? Well, there's parallels between hip-hop and STEAM, right? So, I mean...
Entirely, yeah.
Perfect, beautiful.
Okay, we started listening to some of your stuff, and this is foreshadowing, everybody, but it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for taking part in the quickfire, Raven. Okay, so now
we are going to pivot, and we're going to explore the who, what, where, when, why, and how of Raven and her career in STEAM. So we're going to do that with a few career questions. The first of which is...
Well, your first question, Raven, is you are a science communicator, but you're also doing your PhD in science education. What does your typical day look like?
Well, right now, I am on my way to finishing my degree. So I finished all of my coursework and I am excited to mark a new chapter in my life. I try to balance between my science communication initiatives in school as best as I can. So I guess a day for me is I wake up, I try to not check my phone until after I've, taken care of myself and done my personal hygiene routine and had some tea, and then I'll sit down and kind of go through my emails and what I missed. And school always comes first. So if there's something that I missed for school, I always have to take care of that first before I address anything that has to do with anything else. And then I like to check Twitter. I talk on Twitter a lot, and I like to generate conversations with the community about science and about culture and science culture. And if there's anything on my mind, I'll ask my followers and we'll have a conversation, and we'll kind of have that conversation throughout the day. And there's a lot of other things that I'm working on. I'm making content on TikTok right now, actually, which has been really interesting. So I'm a partner with TikTok right now, giving science education content on that platform. And that's been really fun. And so, yeah, I spend most of my day either working on school stuff or engaging with the community about science.
That's amazing. That's so, so cool. I really love that you're finding other outlets to kind of spread the word about STEAM and do education that way. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're researching?
Yeah, so my research is on adults, and I'm studying how the representation of scientists in the media impact how adults associate with science. And I think this is really important because, as you can see with what's going on here in America, we are really struggling with adults that don't understand science. And that's a huge problem. We have so many programs here dedicated towards getting kids into STEAM. And that's very, very important and effective. But I think we're realizing that it's equally as important that we're making sure we include adults in these initiatives. And so my research is specifically around studying the experiences of Black women and basically understanding what their view is of what a scientist is represented as in America. And also, how do they react to non-traditional images of scientists in the media? And how does that viewership of those non-traditional images impact how they relate to science and their interest in pursuing a STEM career?
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, that is amazing because STEAM and science is for everyone, and that includes adults. So that's a really good thing. And by the way, I'm so excited to see your stuff on TikTok.
Yes.
You will enjoy it.
You took the words also out of my mouth. I was also going to say STEAM is for everyone. So.
We are twins, happens. Your next question is, you used to be a biology professor. What was that like? And how does that experience influence how you communicate science today?
Oh, that was one of my most favorite jobs, because every semester is different. I've taught so many people. I've taught in a couple of institutions, and at one institution, it was a community college, and my classrooms were extremely diverse, not only in ethnic background, but also age. I had grandmothers in the same class as recent high school graduates, and they would be partnered together on a group project. And it was beautiful to see diversity in action and it working really well and students learning. And so that's really where I understood how to communicate science to a diversity of people. And once I moved from that institution, I taught at a state college, and that was a more homogeneously, younger, recent high school graduate population. And I really learned the impact of hands-on activities and getting out of the lecture hall, because my classrooms were a lot bigger there, and I wanted to just break up the monotony of learning and get students reinvigorated about science. So, I really think that to be a good science communicator, you really have to be boots on the ground in the classroom at some point in your career, whether you're a substitute teacher or whether you're just an assistant in a classroom or an actual teacher or professor. It's good to know the fundamentals of learning so that you can make sure people are getting the message.
Yeah, totally. There's nothing like learning by doing. So hands-on is the way to go, and sounds like you really did a lot of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I really like the point that you made about having people of different backgrounds, but also different ages. In my experience, that has also been such a fantastic way to learn from different perspectives, because everybody brings a different perspective to that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so your next question, Raven, is, right, so we love your moniker, Raven the Science Maven, and we were wondering how that name came about.
Well, when I was coming up, I was really, from a young age, I knew I wanted to be a science communicator. I didn't know even what that field was called. I just knew that I wanted to teach everybody about science. I wanted to learn science and teach science. And one of the most prominent figures that I knew was doing that was Bill Nye the Science Guy. And he was definitely someone that I, really understood was a science communicator and did it in a way that I thought was fun and interesting. So in developing my platform, first of all, let me just say I'm really bad with names. I named my cat Frog because frog is actually my favorite animal, but I can't keep a frog alive based on my track record. So I just named my cat Frog, and I was like, all right, I've got a frog. So I'm not the best with names. But so I was like, oh, I want to be the next Bill Nye or something. And I'm like, Raven the Science Maven sounds pretty cool. So it was kind of like a play on Bill Nye the Science Guy, not really thinking that anything would really come of it. But here we are.
Yeah, here we are, and you are Raven the Science Maven. I gotta disagree, I'm sorry, but that is a great name.
Yeah.
And so is Frog for a cat, because who else is gonna have a cat called Frog?
Me.
I love that.
Okay, that's a brilliant name. Love the backstory, and regardless of whether you thought it was gonna go anywhere, you're going places. So
Look at you now.
good pick. Good pick. Your next question is, you've been vocal about sharing STEAM with everyone, adults and everyone included, which is something we strongly believe in as well. So yay. But why is it important to you to celebrate diversity in STEAM and to create a space in STEAM that is welcoming for everyone?
Oh, well, there's so much research that's out that indicates that diversity helps people to solve problems in a way that is more robust and like just better solutions and more well thought solutions come into existence when people are contributing from different perspectives, different lived experiences, different cultural backgrounds, ages. We really have to value all of that and want that. So it's also known that some of the greatest challenges in STEAM or STEM really come from the lack of diversity. And we have to address diversity before we can even address problems like climate change, for example, that are deeply impacted and tied to racial injustice. So, I think it's definitely past due time for us to focus on truly being intentional about making diversity a thing, and being inclusive and creating safe spaces for people to voice their science and do their science in a safe way.
Yeah, it entirely feels surreal that this is something we still have to pay attention to as something that needs to change, but everything you said just hits it right spot on as to why and where we need to go, really. So
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for making part of that change happen.
Thank you.
Okay, so this next question, you are well known for your incredible talent for mixing science and music, making waves, or should we say sound waves.
That's good.
Thank you. Inspiring people to learn about science through music, which is amazing. And we wanted to know, how did you start and what motivates you to share your passion in this way?
So in high school, I was really comfortable with using my voice. And there were times when people would kind of not be comfortable with that, or maybe wanted to just put me down for whatever reason. Maybe because they were uncomfortable with their own lives. Not sure, but bullies exist. So I was bullied by a few people in high school. And it was really odd to me because I was really sure of myself. Yeah, I couldn't believe that people could find anything to pick on me about. So there was this one instance where someone was trying to spread a rumor about me in high school. And I'm not really a confrontational type. I enjoy voicing, my stance on things. But if it's about something that doesn't make sense, or it's not logical or rational for me to like even bother with it, I'm not really gonna get involved. So this person who started a rumor, it got really bad. The rumor was all over the school. It was completely false. And I decided that I wanted to speak up for myself, but I wasn't gonna do it how anybody else would do it by saying, hey, come fight me behind the school. Cause I don't think I would even win, to be honest. But I made a song. So I made a rap song and I remixed a song called Pretty Woman. And I basically was just tearing this person apart to pieces on this song. So I put it on a CD and I gave it to my friend. And then my friend made copies of it and then distributed it like around the school. So my song, it was really catchy. it was so catchy that you couldn't tell it was actually a diss track. So everyone in the school heard it, and everyone's like, you should like be a rapper or something. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to, get rid of this mean person. This is just like a one-time deal. So here we are in 2020. Here we are in 2020. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much did the same thing. I was tired of people not washing their hands and like practicing social distancing. So I basically made a diss track to all those people. And the legacy continues, I guess.
Yo, that is hilarious. And also the most unique origin story that we've heard.
Oh my God.
And hey, violence is not the answer, but maybe sometimes a diss track is.
Yeah, you gotta get the message across somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Music is like another language, so
Universal.
Exactly. So hopefully that worked.
I hope that got across.
It did. No one messed with me after that, so.
Excellent. You found your voice in doing that, and it worked that way. That's beautiful.
That's a win-win in anybody's book, I think. And on that note, science education and advocacy on diversity is super important, as we've already talked about. But before we get to the next few questions, exploring Raven the Science Maven's career, we have a little game to play, and that is called Explain This Photo. As I grab the photo, did you have a follow-up question you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I guess so. Raven, what is you mentioned a couple pieces that you've done. What's your favorite piece that you've ever recorded or made?
Oh, I would say my favorite is the song on my recent release. It's called ATCG. And that's just a song about genetics and really empowering women to embrace what they've been given genetically, and also to stand firm in their existence as a human being. And meanwhile, kind of teaching you a little bit about genetics along the way.
I love that connection.
That's a great
amazing.
mix.
That's beautiful.
And speaking of which, is this what you're referring to?
Yes, that's my latest project, the protocol.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about it and a little bit more about this image?
Yeah. So the protocol, I named it the protocol because if you're not really familiar with science or doing experiments, protocols basically like a recipe or a set of instructions for an experiment. And in making this music, I really wanted to create a new set of instructions for how STEM culture should be. And just giving people the license to just be themselves and be proud of who they are, and to kind of set themselves free from the boxes that exist in STEM culture. Because there are many boxes, especially for women of color. And just shattering all those boxes and saying, hey, if you know the science, or if you want to learn science, just come join us. And this is the new way that we're going to be doing things, and you don't have to worry about anything else. The album cover, there's me, and I made sure that I was in a cute dress, because you don't really get to see women in science, being cute. Usually it's very stale images, but there's like little elements of science behind. So there's the cell membrane, there's a double helix, there's a rocket ship, there's all kinds of things going on here.
Yeah. The more you look at it, the more you see. And this is a brilliant,
Beautiful.
image, and it's so well done. And you can see it says Raven the Science Maven in it. I love it. It's
Yeah.
great.
It's
I'm gonna have to
fantastic.
show everybody one more time. It's great.
I'm gonna have to send you guys some stickers of the album
Yes.
cover.
You know I'm gonna rep that. Okay, the next one is
Tell us about
Oh, nice. Yeah, so my little brother, who's 8 years old, his name is Phoenix. He was playing around with his Amazon Alexa, and he asked Alexa who I was. I guess that's because that's what brothers do. I don't know, because he didn't know who I was, apparently. So he asked Alexa, who's Raven Baxter? And Alexa said, Science Communicator. So I was like, what? And it was really exciting for me because my name, Raven Baxter, was used by the Disney Channel to create a character called, on the show That's So Raven, called Raven Baxter. So if you Google Raven Baxter, or if you ask any device who Raven Baxter is never said me, even though I exist. I'm like, I don't know if I'm the only Raven Baxter, but I mean, I don't think there's like many others. So it was really frustrating as somebody who's trying to be a prominent figure in science communication for it to be kind of overshadowed by the Disney Channel. So I was really excited. I was really excited about that.
I like how you and Alexa are now.
Yeah.
You. Okay, so now I'm going to play a little bit of Raven's music.
Adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine. That's the code for me. Chocolate, mommy. Blend it over, make it fold like origami. Shake it fast, earthquake, cause a tsunami. Adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine. That's the code for me. Chocolate, mommy. Blend it over, make it fold like origami. Shake it fast, earthquake, cause a tsunami. Yeah. Y'all thought it was gonna be nice. Oh my God. I'm keeping it real in this joint. Listen, my haters, they replicators, but they are not duplicators. I'm on top like supernating. I'm going hard super saiyan. You know my name, you can say it. I'm Raven the Science. Maybe you hating cause I'm your favorite. You hate me cause I done made it. Yup, that's who I am. And you my son. I see you in my sonogram. I got a higher grade than you on that last exam. They call me doctor, then I make them say, ooh, yes, ma'am. ATCG, base her up like Mario and Luigi. ATCG, make them sweat, they need a squeegee. ATCG, got the code, but you can't beat me. ATCG, ooh, ATCG.
Fantastic.
That was
I
amazing.
absolutely love it. Hey, where can we find that?
It's on all major music platforms. So Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon, Tidal, all of them.
Under Raven the Science Maven, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Perfect.
Adding that as soon as we're done here. That's awesome.
We loved that. You're amazing. But we're going to get back to some career questions so we can learn a little bit more about Raven the Science Maven.
And the first question, or the next question is, what is a challenge that you faced in your career that ended up shaping your outlook today?
When I was working in corporate as a scientist, I worked in a 7-story building. And when I was hired, there was only one other black person in the entire building. Probably should say the other black person was a security guard. So it wasn't even like my coworker. They were just somebody in the building. So when I arrived on the scene, they were like so excited, you know, trying to figure out, where do you work? I'm like, I'm a scientist on the top floor. Oh my God, I can't, like, congratulations. I'm so proud of my existence in the space. And every day, you know, that person was my cheerleader. But when I, you know, as I went into the elevator to the top floor where I was supposed to be working, I knew that I was just walking into a totally different environment where nobody really cared that I existed. I mean, literally, like, I would walk in and nobody would talk to me. And so, you know, I really tried hard to be included. As I said before, I'm the same person I was 15 years ago. So everything that you like see and experience about me today is the exact same energy that I would bring into the workplace. But no one really wanted to include me in things. So like people would go out for lunch and I would never be invited, or people would have like housewarming parties or baby showers and I'd never be invited, but everybody else, you know, from the workplace that they wanted to invite would be invited. I was just never one of those people that was included. So, you know, it kind of made me feel really sad. And it was like a toxic environment, I guess. You know, you're going into a place every day where you're not feeling very welcomed, or like people want you to be there. It's not really a great place to work. So one day they hired another Black person, the janitor, right? So this person was responsible for helping clean up like biohazardous waste and just everyday things that we need in the lab that we never think about that we really need. This person was doing. And one of my coworkers, when I was hired, she said, you know, aren't you glad that you're not going to be the token Black person anymore? And she was like smiling. She thought that she was saying something that was completely appropriate. I don't think her intention was to hurt me, but she really did hurt my feelings like a lot when she said that, because it had confirmed all of my greatest fears about working there, which was that people didn't see me as equal, and that people didn't think that I was like one of them, that I was something else besides what everybody else was. And to her, I was the token Black person, and it absolutely broke my heart. You know, it's okay to acknowledge that I'm the only Black woman in the workplace, but you don't do that by calling the Black woman, you know, a token Black person, you know, meanwhile participating in the alienation of this person, you know? So I had to kind of step back from that position and really think about what I was gonna do. Because although I was hurt, I knew that there were gonna be people coming in generations behind me who were gonna be experiencing the same thing unless we do something about it, right? Because my trauma doesn't have to be my daughter's trauma or her daughter's trauma if we stop it right here and make a change in STEM culture. So I've kind of taken it upon myself to be super unapologetic about who I am, and making sure that people in STEM becomes not only self-aware, but socially aware, so that we can be more intentional about creating these safe spaces and in the workplace for adults. There's a lot of data that shows that we can graduate like a diverse STEM population, but they trickle out during their professional careers. They trickle out at a really high rate. We're not retaining people in the workforce when it comes to STEM diversity.
Yeah. So sorry that you went through that. And
It's awful.
yeah, and it's amazing that you're turning all that into sharing how to be socially aware and how important that is for everyone in not just the STEM and STEAM workplace, but everywhere, really.
Yeah, it's a two-way street, because, you know, in the moment where she did call me, my ex-coworker called me a token Black girl, I wasn't self-aware enough to say, hey, that hurt my feelings. You know, I was really internalizing that pain. And it was something that I've learned, you know, being a Black person in America. A lot of Black people experience things and we just internalize it because we're so used to kind of taking a beating at the hands of society and people's implicit bias, right? And so I wasn't even prepared to use my voice in that case, because I wasn't aware that I even had a voice or power to say, you kind of hurt my feelings. That was wrong. You shouldn't have said that. I took the beating and I shouldn't have done that. In hindsight, I should have told her right then and there, hey girl, you can't go around saying that, but I didn't. So it's a two-way street of people being aware of when they're being hurt, and then people being aware of if they're gonna say something that might hurt somebody, to like stop it before it happens. So that's what I'm focusing on now.
That's amazing that you're focusing on that and doing that work, because it's unfortunately so common in any kind of workforce. So yeah, thank you for doing that.
And your voice is now inspiring a lot of people, so for the better.
Okay. So we wanted to know, what's one of your favorite moments in your career so far, and what did that moment teach you?
I will say that one thing that I'm really excited about that I've done is in my teaching. So in every course that I teach, I like to give students the license to learn how they want to learn. I feel like I'm a resource as far as the content information, but as far as students getting the information and translating that information into something that's useful for them, I like them to dictate that process. I personally love teaching non-majors science courses. I love having hundreds of people in a room who are taking this class because they don't want to be there. And they're trying to just get an elective out of the way. And so they're all piled up in my class, like, get this over with. And I love converting people from that mindset to one that's really excited about understanding science, and one that's like ready to go out into the world asking questions about everything that they see. So one of the ways that I do that is I'll teach a course, and then my final project for a course will be, I like to give creative projects as a final project that gives them the opportunity to take a topic that I taught about during the semester and turn it into a creative piece. So I've had people who have made board games of the digestive system. I think it was called Poops and Shoots or something. I've had people do a skit about the menstrual cycle, and it was like this elaborate thing with us, like multiple scenes and like costume changes. I was really impressed. I've had people write rap music. This isn't stuff that I've told people to do. These are products that they create from the assignment. Paintings, spoken word poems, which was really incredible how people, I think one person did a spoken word poem about the circulatory system. It was amazing, and they turned it into a love story. So that's something that I like to translate into everything that I do, is infusing creativity in learning science.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool that you give everyone the license to learn, and it turns into an embodiment of STEAM, really mixing that creative arts into the STEM, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's so amazing that they have that outlet to kind of do something outside of the box while still learning about STEAM or whatever the topics are. That's amazing. I love that.
Thank you.
Okay, so with all of your amazing initiatives that you do, it is clear that multitasking is your forte. You have a lot going on. So what is your favorite way to de-stress?
I like to eat. And I know that's not like the healthiest way. I mean, depending on what you eat, but I really like to try new recipes. The thing about cooking is it takes time, and you can't really multitask while you're cooking. Like if you're making bread, you're palms deep in the flour and the dough, and there's no space for you to be on the phone or like type on a computer. You're cooking your food, you have to watch your food. So I like to cook. Even if I have a packed schedule, if I plan to cook a meal, I at least know that that's like an hour or 45 minutes where I'm not tied to my phone or a screen or something, trying to balance between all of these different things going on in my life right now.
That's amazing. I love that you make the time to do something important where you get to de-stress. And I think trying new recipes is such a fantastic thing, because that's another way that you can incorporate, discovery into your day. I love that.
Yeah, totally. Do you have a go-to recipe?
Well, I recently picked up, again, being a vegetarian. So I'm going to be honest, I'm really struggling with food. I eat a lot of Indian food. I've just figured out that I do like paneer. So, but I eat too much of it, and it's just, I don't know. I think I eat too much of it. but I'm learning how to cook with it, and pretty much anything that tastes good, and at my age, anything that won't like cause me to bloat and expand beyond a healthy circumference. That would be great. Any food, yeah.
Hey, about the paneer, I can't blame you.
I don't know how to stop eating it.
Can't help you.
I'm screwed.
Just to keep an eye on that healthy circumference, and moderation is the key.
Yeah. Oh boy. Here we go.
All right, so it's pretty clear that walking the talk is important to you. Can you tell us a little bit more about another initiative that you're involved with, which is STEMbacy?
Yes, so STEMbacy it started out as a talk show that I initiated just before COVID became a prevalent issue in America. And my intention with STEMbacy was to showcase a diversity of talent in STEM and hear people's STEM stories and hear about what people are passionate about and have fun while doing it. And I actually had the opportunity to bring on guests that had been on the show to become permanent hosts of STEMbassy. So we all co-host the show together. And what I love about our group is it just so happened that it's all women. That wasn't my intention, but I also think that's great. But I really love that we're showcasing diversity in age, diversity in ethnic backgrounds, and showing that we can create a safe space for people to come together and talk about issues. And we all don't have to look the same to really understand what's important and how to make inclusive environments a possible thing. And I really want to make a case for science communication and STEM communication to be diverse and to make sure we normalize, like, yes, we should have more Black scientists, more Hispanic scientists, more Indigenous scientists, etc. But what's even cooler is showing us all together, working together, and normalizing seeing us all working together in teams alongside each other, because that's really what the field is about.
Mm-hmm. And hey, collaboration and teamwork is the future of STEAM, STEM, really everything. Okay, so your last career question before we move on to another game is, what's one piece of advice you'd give to someone who's interested in your field?
I would say be curious. Be very curious about literally everything. I guess this applies to many fields. Be curious about yourself. Be curious about the things that you're learning. Be curious about the people that are teaching you, and the people around you, because all of those things will impact your journey in this field. And you never really know what's behind the question. And if you don't ask the question, you'll never find out, or maybe you will in a different situation. But it's okay to be curious.
I like that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, science communication, advocacy, music, you're well versed in it all. And we want to learn a little bit more about Raven, the science maven, through part 2 of Explain That Photo.
Okay. So we've got a couple more photos, and the first one that we're going to share is this one. Explain this photo from your Instagram.
Ooh. Okay. So, so I graduated from high school when I was 16 years old, and I became a college freshman at 17. And I was really smart in high school, and what that meant was I didn't study a lot because I was naturally capable of doing the work. So when I got to college, it was a huge shock for me because I didn't have study skills. I thought everything was going to continue to come naturally for me. But the reality was the environment was really challenging, in that you really do have to put a lot of work into your studies once you get to the college level. So I ended up not doing well. I had to come home because my grades, I failed a lot of my classes and my grades weren't good enough to stay at the college. So I had to drop out. I had to come home and attend a community college so that I could get my grades up and continue on my pursuit for a bachelor's degree. So I continued on that pursuit, and I eventually got my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and with a master's degree, you're eligible to teach at a community college. So I ended up going back to the same community college that I went to after I dropped out my freshman year, and became an assistant professor of biology when I was 23. So that's what this picture is about.
That's pretty amazing, and that's a really great way of showing how challenges at one point in your life don't dictate whether or not you have success at another point in your life. So yeah, good for you.
They don't define you, and it looks like you inspired yourself there. So I love that. It goes back to your inspiration.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great example. Okay, we have another one.
Mm-hmm. Explain to us what's happening in this photo, Raven.
Ooh, so that's me in college. I would skate to most of my classes. That's a longboard, which is a skateboard that's long. That's why they call it a longboard. And yeah, I mean, I was really one of the few women on campus who did that. One of the very few Black women on campus that did that, but I really didn't care. I just really marched to the beat of my own drum, and I love the feeling of having your headphones in and just minding your own business and feeling the wind blowing through your hair and going to class and just being in your own world, pursuing what you want.
This is what a scientist looks like, so that's awesome. And I think we have enough time to get to a few questions that were sent in from our audience, so shout out to all of you who sent some in. I'll grab that audience question box.
Oh my gosh, there's audience questions.
We got it all covered.
Oh wow, you guys are awesome.
Thank you. Okay, so Meg wants to know, hey Meg, what kind of extracurriculars or research did you do during university, and what impact does that have on you today?
I really believe in being well-rounded, and I think that being well-rounded has made the greatest impact on my career today, especially as a science communicator. If you can only talk about one thing in science and like that's what you communicate about, that's okay. If you want to reach as many people as possible, it's also great to know about a broad spectrum of things in science. So often in undergrad and grad school, I picked up projects that were completely out of my field. Like I was a molecular biology student, but at one point I was studying soil microbial respiration. So understanding how microbes in the soil affect like different gas levels that occur in the soil, which actually has a great impact on plant life. Completely out of my field, but I learned a lot about plants and soil that I wouldn't have learned if I would just pigeonhole myself into molecular biology and never come out. So I definitely recommend students make themselves well-rounded.
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Meg, and great answer.
Yeah, we also totally believe that too. We study concussions, but in undergrad, we also started learning a lot about archaeology, and we loved it so much. We continue that as well. We still sometimes flint nap. It's such a wonderful thing to have different perspectives, different sort of areas that you're involved in.
Yeah, entirely. Okay. The second question is this what you planned to do when you were in school? And that one was sent in from Claire. Thanks, Claire.
When I was in school, was this being a science communicator? Yeah, I think so. I think that, there's science communication definitely falls under the lines of science education. And I've always felt like I wanted to teach people and play a role in educating people. So, you can do that in many different ways. You can do it informally as a science communicator or formally as an actual education professional. I've done both.
Yeah, you have, and you're doing pretty great at. I love the inclusion of music in this, so I think that's a nice, unique way to carry on with that. And Claire, thank you for your question.
Yeah, so the last question is, what do you like most about your career?
Wow, making friends. I think it's so cool to see how many people how many people who just want to know a relatable figure in science, and someone who's really interested in making science a fun, happy place for everybody. In wanting for that, I've been able to meet a lot of like-minded people like you guys, and be able to share my story and participate in the important work that other people are doing, and meeting people who can kind of amplify my voice a little bit so that more people can hear it. And it's been really fun. I don't even want to call it networking because it's such a businessy word, but I like to say making friends has been my most important or most fun and interesting and important part of my career so far.
That's awesome. And you're pretty awesome.
Yeah,
so.
you're fantastic, Raven. We were so happy that we got to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us on the STEAM League. And everyone, you can check out all the rest of the superheroes in STEAM on our YouTube channel, as well as at steamsisters.ca.